Okay, this recording is not the property of the county, and the county makes no representation about the accuracy of the recording and is not responsible for the content. The recording is the exclusive property of the union or the recorder, and copies of the recording must be directly requested from the recorder. The county has no obligation under Florida Statute 119, as it is not the county's recording, nor does the county maintain a copy. Okay, thank you. We've had a chance to look at this. It kind of looks a lot like the one we rejected and we changed. So for now, we're going to be rejecting that proposal on 20. We'll have a counter proposal for you, however, not today. You know, with these changes, there's also economic implications, so we'll hold on to it. But I did have there is one thing that has stood out to us. This list continues to have a station key on it. Can someone tell us why we think that's something that's needed?
I'll refer to Clint on that.
Something that you guys give us?
You don't have keys.
I mean, I have a key. I was issued a station key 10 years ago.
Exactly.
I mean, I still have it.
It's been 10 years. So we'll, you know, so just so everybody knows, on whatever proposals we give and things that we talk about, we just want to make sure everybody understands there are not keys. And there was only one that in the past station that had a key in the past few years. And we are actually giving key holders to people because the contract requires it, but there are no keys to give you. So we're going to be removed, just so everybody's on the same page. That is something that you're not going to see in the future.
No, not keys. I don't think we have a problem with removing it.
Yep. I do have 3 articles for you that I'd like to mention so that we can get those across to you. Do you have something? Because the other, when we met yesterday, you had asked us specifically about numerous articles that you had no changes in. Of those articles, we've already given you 4 of them combined as one article. But I do have for you, and I'm going to email this to you shortly, are 3 articles with no changes from the ones you gave us yesterday. Okay. Those are you ready?
Yep.
Okay, Article 2, Management Rights. Article 16, Voluntary Exchange of Duty Time. Article 21, Discipline. Zach, you have 9 available to put up?
Yep, I can pull it up.
And we also have Article 9, and we have one change on Article 9, and I'll explain to you the reason for the change is we want to have the station bids take place annually in January of each year, rather than multiple times monthly throughout the year. We're trying to streamline that process. So the only thing we have changed in this article is the insertion of annually in January, and the last sentence of paragraph D, awarded station bids will take effect the following month on the 1st if it is in the same shift or the first day of a new pay period after the 1st. So I'll be sending those over to you, and if you're in agreement with any or all of them, if you would sign those and send them back to us, because the 4 of those were ones you mentioned yesterday with no changes, and we had only that one change to Article 9.
Right.
Okay?
The 4 that you had sent over before, Karen, I've got signed, and I'll send those to you at our next caucus.
Okay.
And then we'll take a look. I don't believe there's going to be any issue with 2, 16, and 21 because we had no proposed changes. So if you want to send those over signed, I'll sign them and send them back to you.
Okay, I'll do that. When we have a caucus, I'll do it and I'll send them to you.
Okay, and then send me this. We'll take a look at it. I haven't talked to the team, so it wasn't an article we had touched. So we'll have to have some discussion about it, but we'll see where we sit with that.
I need to
All right,
ask.
I'll send you 9. I'll send you 9 first, and then I'll sign the others and send them.
Okay.
I need to ask a question about this before we go to caucus, because it's pointless to go to caucus unless we fully understand.
Go ahead, Clint.
So with this change, are you wanting to rebid the entire department annually, or just bidding the positions that are open annually?
Hey, Clint, this is Jimmy. I was envisioning just open positions annually. The system rebids would be in conjunction like we have in the past, once we add rotations, and we'd have to restructure the rotations, but just open positions.
So,
or I guess I would say if people wanted to vacate their position.
what would the process be then for filling those vacancies until the next year? I'm not sure if you heard me. Can you hear me?
Yep.
What is your process then for filling those vacancies for that rest of that calendar year before the annual bidding then?
You're talking about for new hires?
Well, for anybody.
Administrative placement. What we do now.
Okay.
With the exception that you guys wouldn't be able to jump around multiple times.
Okay.
Do you want some additional explanation?
I understand the thought process behind it, because I have had conversations with Assistant Chief Jones about this. And I expected some sort of language change here. Not necessarily this type of language change, but we'll have to discuss it amongst ourselves and then we'll get back to you.
Yeah. So administratively, it is a huge burden, and it's not that it's a burden and we don't want to do it. It doesn't make business sense because it's right. So we have to post it in NeoGov. It has to be advertised, and then it's a manual process. The HR system is calculated manually, and what happens from there is anytime a human makes adjustments manually, it leads to clerical errors, and half the time there has to be pay adjustment forms because our employees aren't getting paid appropriately because they switched from 12 to 24. Or the build out on workforce schedule isn't accurate. It's creating a whole lot of hardships on our employees because they're not getting paid the way they should be.
No, I understand. Okay.
And how frequently does it happen now?
Monthly.
Monthly.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll talk about it.
Okay, I just sent you Article 9, and I'm working on signing the other 3 articles, and we'll send them over.
Okay, before we break again, I'm trying to find out if there's some language regarding 11 that clarifies. I know I explained where the problem lies, and I know that, Chief, you said that, once you were made aware of it, it was resolved, and I agree it was, but how do we avoid the potential of it happening again, or should there be some administrative changes, it happening again? We're trying to look for kind of the right language that keeps it simple, but makes it clear that if someone utilizes their bereavement, that though it's coded as a vacation day, they still get the time off, even if the vacation schedule is full.
If you're talking, we can't hear you.
You can't hear me?
No, the county. It looked like they were talking, but.
Yeah, I think they put their finger up like as in, hold on a second.
Oh, okay.
Can you hear us?
Yes.
Okay, great, Scott, thanks. We lost the connection with the phone call, and so we're just back on the record for anybody who was recording, and my comments about it being recorded are the same. And so I'm sorry, Scott, we missed some of what you said. You had asked us about Article 11, about the bereavement article, and you were talking about changing language to ensure that it doesn't arise, and then we lost you. Sorry.
Okay. No, I was just looking for a bit of a collaborative effort in finding the proper language that achieves what we're looking for, and that is to ensure that someone that needs to take bereavement for a non-immediate family member can still get that, even though there are 3, so to speak, vacation slots taken up. And like I said, I know the chief was made aware of a situation. He corrected it, which is fine. But moving forward, and should there be different administrators involved, how do we avoid this, in the future? So I don't know if there's a particular way that makes sense to word it, keep it simple, that we can kind of work together on, or do you want me just to figure it out on my own?
Talking about our leave of absence article we gave you yesterday and working from that version to change the language in bereavement leave. Because the language that I think you are looking for existed in the policy as it was written and we struck through, and that would be section 3 of the struck through policy. So if you're talking about our policy that we gave you yesterday and revising that proposal, then you could look to that language in section 3 of the policy that is in effect now that we struck through in Article 11, and see if that is you think will take care of the issue you've made. And I want to say it's been one time in 3 years. So I understand your hesitancy in the future because you don't know who would some year, 20 years from now when Jimmy hits the lottery. I understand that, but it's only happened one time in 3 years. So if you would feel more comfortable with language, I suggest you might start with the language that was in it if that was the language you're looking for. But I don't know kind of what's on your mind.
All right, I'll just look at section 3. And no, I was referring to strictly the Article 11. The union has no interest in moving all the leaves into policy again.
Okay, then it's already in there. I mean, if you're talking about your proposal is going to be put everything back the way it was, then you need to look at section 3.
Okay, we'll take a look at section. Okay. All right. We'll caucus.
Are you going to have anything else for us today?
Probably not.
Hold on for 1 minute. Finish my thought about what we have for you today is I have sent the Article 9 and I will be sending the other 3. The reason I asked specifically if there was anything else was yesterday you said that you were going to be giving us your pay proposal. And so we sort of planned on that. Is that coming today? Because we'll just take a break and come back when you're ready.
No, unfortunately, as we started to dig into that, there's been some questions raised, so we will not have it ready. What I will do, Karen, is get that to you ahead of our next scheduled meeting so that you have time to take a look at it.
Okay. I think our next scheduled meeting isn't until August 30th, but I do think in looking to schedule next additional meetings, we probably won't do afternoon on one day and morning on the next, because obviously, and you've been taking time this morning to get ready, but obviously that didn't give you time to get ready for today. So, yeah, let us take about a 15-minute caucus, and then we'll come back in if you want to go into a breakout room, and we'll see if we have anything else to finish up with you today.
Yeah,
Okay?
yeah, we might be able to give you some response on Article 9 while we're in caucus too.
Okay, great. Thanks. We'll be back in about 15 minutes.